What holds our galaxies together? Where did life even come from? And what does it mean to be, well, aware? You might be surprised to learn that some of the most basic questions about our reality still have scientists scratching their heads. In this video, we're tackling 5 of the biggest unsolved mysteries in science. We're going from a legendary patch of ocean that supposedly swallows ships whole, to the mind-bending fact that nearly 95% of our universe is made of something we can't even see. These are the questions that make you rethink everything you thought you knew. Kicking off our list is a classic, a legend that's probably more of a ghost story than a scientific puzzle these days, the Bermuda Triangle. This infamous stretch of the North Atlantic between Bermuda, Florida, and Puerto Rico has a chilling reputation. The legend is juicy, packed with tales of spinning compasses, dead radios, and ships vanishing without a single SOS. You've probably heard of the big ones. The USS Cyclops, a massive Navy cargo ship that disappeared with over 300 people in 1918. Or Flight 19 Inches 1945, when a whole squadron of 5 Navy bombers vanished, and then the rescue plane sent to find them also vanished. Spooky, right? The theories got wild, from alien abductions to portals to another dimension. But what does science say? Well, most researchers have pretty down-to-earth explanations. Oceanographer Dr. Simon Boxall points out that the triangle is a perfect storm alley, where storms from the north and south can converge to create colossal rogue waves up to 100 feet high, more than enough to swallow a huge ship in seconds. Another theory blames sudden massive eruptions of methane gas from the seabed, which could slash the water's density and cause a ship to sink like a rock. Honestly though, many experts argue there's no real mystery at all. The U.S. Coast Guard flatly states that when you look at the sheer volume of ships and planes that pass through this heavily trafficked area and its famously bad weather, the number of disappearances isn't statistically weird. So, while the legend is a fantastic piece of modern folklore, science pretty much says, case closed. Coming in at number 4, let's ask the biggest question there is: where did we come from? No, not your parents. I mean the very first spark of life. How did a sterile, rocky planet getting pelted with asteroids turn into a place crawling with living things? This is the mystery of abiogenesis, life from non-life. Scientists generally agree that about 4 billion years ago, simple, dead chemicals on Earth somehow arranged themselves into molecules that could make copies of themselves. The billion-dollar question is how? The most famous idea is the primordial soup theory. It suggests that life kicked off in a shallow pond or ocean, where a chemical cocktail, zapped by lightning or UV rays, created the first building blocks of life. Another cool hypothesis points to deep-sea hydrothermal vents. These underwater chimneys blast out hot, mineral-rich water, creating a weird chemical playground that might have been the perfect sheltered spot for the first cells to form. Then there's the panspermia theory, which suggests life isn't an Earth native at all. Maybe the ingredients, or even tiny microbes, hitched a ride to our planet on a comet or asteroid. The leap from a bunch of amino acids to a living thing that can reproduce is just massive. And the plot thickens. Recent research in 2025 is shaking things up, suggesting the ingredients for life might have come from different places on the young Earth, not just one uniform soup. Another 2025 study even showed that lifelike behaviors can pop up from simple chemicals just by shining a light on them. Still, we have the ingredients list, but the universe is keeping the recipe book to itself. Mind-bending, right? We're only halfway through. If you're digging this trip into the unknown, do us a solid and hit that like button. And if you want to keep questioning everything, make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss what's next. For our next mystery, you don't need a telescope. You just need, well, you. It's the question of consciousness itself. Why do you experience the color red or the taste of chocolate? Why aren't you just a meat robot processing data, but a person with an inner world of thoughts and feelings? This is what philosopher David Chalmers famously called the hard problem of consciousness. The easy problems, he said, are about figuring out how the brain works, how it processes information and controls our bodies. But the hard problem is different. It asks why all that wiring and firing in your brain creates a subjective experience in the first place. Think about it. Scientists can show you the exact neurons that fire when you see red, but nothing in that physical description explains the feeling of seeing redness. Why isn't it all just happening in the dark, without anyone home to experience it? There's a huge gap between the physical brain and the rich, private movie playing inside your head. Theories are all over the place. Some neuroscientists think consciousness just pops out of complex brain networks the same way wetness pops out of H2O molecules. Others, like Christoph Koch, who famously lost a 25-year bet that we'd have solved it by now, are exploring some pretty out-there ideas. Some even wonder if consciousness is a fundamental property of the universe itself, called panpsychism. For now, the fact that you are aware of reading this is one of the biggest mysteries there is. Alright, let's head back to space, because things are about to get really weird. Everything we can see, every star, planet, and galaxy makes up only 5% of the universe. The rest is a giant question mark, starting with dark matter. Dark matter is basically the invisible glue holding the cosmos together. It makes up about 27% of the universe, but it's totally invisible. It doesn't emit, absorb, or reflect light. So, how in the world do we know it's there? Purely because of its gravity. Back in the 1930s, an astronomer named Fritz Zwicky noticed that galaxies were moving so fast they should have been flying apart. The gravity from all the visible stuff wasn't enough to hold them together. He figured there had to be some invisible dark matter providing the extra gravitational grip. Since then, the evidence has piled up. We see stars on the edges of galaxies moving at impossible speeds unless they're surrounded by a huge invisible halo of dark matter. We even see its gravity bending light from distant galaxies, creating cosmic funhouse mirror effects that let us map where it is. But what is it? The leading suspect is a hypothetical particle called a WIMP, or weakly interacting massive particle. The idea is that they barely interact with normal matter, so they can pass right through you and the Earth as if you were a ghost. But after decades of searching with super-sensitive detectors, we haven't found a single one. And just when you thought it couldn't get stranger, a 2025 proposal suggests dark matter might not be perfectly dark, and could leave a faint red or blue tint on light, a fingerprint our telescopes could hunt for. Until we find it, the bizarre truth remains. Around 85% of all the matter in our universe is a total ghost. And here it is, the #1 biggest mystery in all of science. If dark matter is the glue holding things together, dark energy is the force that's actively blowing it all apart, and it's winning. In the late 1990s, astronomers were looking at distant exploding stars, expecting to see that the expansion of the universe was slowing down because of gravity. They found the exact opposite. The expansion is speeding up. The discovery was so shocking it completely flipped cosmology on its head and won a Nobel Prize. Something was fighting gravity and pushing space-time apart. They called it dark energy. This mystery force makes up a mind-blowing 68% of everything in the universe. And unlike dark matter, which clumps around galaxies, dark energy seems to be everywhere, woven into the fabric of space itself. As space expands, more space gets created, and with it, more dark energy, which then pushes space to expand even faster. So, what is it? The best guess is that it's the cosmological constant, an idea Einstein came up with and then famously called his biggest blunder. It's the energy of empty space itself. But when scientists try to calculate how much energy a vacuum should have, the number they get is catastrophically, ridiculously larger than what we observe, a mismatch so bad it's been called the worst prediction in the history of physics. Now, for a wild twist. Brand new results in March 2025 from the DESI project hinted that dark energy might not be constant. It might be weakening. Now, if, and that's a huge if, this holds up, it could flip the script on the universe's ultimate fate. Instead of expanding into a cold, dark, big freeze, it opens up the tiny speculative possibility of a big crunch collapse. For now, the nature of this invisible force that rules our universe is the biggest question we have. So, from our own minds to the darkest corners of space, it's clear we have a lot left to figure out. But these gaps in our knowledge aren't failures, they're the whole point of science. They are the X on the treasure map, reminding us that we're still explorers in a cosmos that's way stranger and more wonderful than we can imagine. What do you think is the most mind-blowing mystery? Did we miss one you're obsessed with? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for watching. And if you love having your mind blown, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell so you can join us for the next big question.